Hi, friends, and welcome back. Today we'll be reading the story Don't Leave an Elephant to Go Chase a Bird. This story is a retelling based on a story originally collected in Ghana in the 1920s. One morning, Anansi Spider-Man woke up. Anansi Spider-Man had no idea what he was going to do today, but he knew something would happen if he started moving. He left his house and started walking along the road. Suddenly, he felt an urge and said to himself, Ugh, ugh, something is happening. He knew he should say good morning to Sky God. Anansi sat down at the roadside. He said, Sky God, a good morning to you. He waited. No answer from Sky God. That's all right with me, he said to himself. I'll just wait. And he was all set to wait, all prepared to wait as long as ever. With no warning, quick, he found a corn cob in his hand. Anansi smiled, knowing it was from Sky God. But he became full of thinking. Anansi Spider-Man didn't know what to do with a corn cob. He listened hard to himself, and then he knew what to do. Anansi got up and started walking again, this time carrying the corn cob in his hand. Anansi Spider-Man came to a stream. Women were there washing, beating clothes on big rocks. Good morning, Anansi said. Good morning, Anansi, all the women said, looking at him. On his left, the woman looking up at him had the deepest and saddest hungry eyes he ever saw. Take this corn cob, he said, handing it to her. The woman thanked Anansi. You are on a journey? She asked. Yes, he said. She picked up a gourd of water and handed it to him. Take this. You'll be hot and thirsty. He thanked the woman. Anansi walked on, carrying the gourd of water. He came to a family digging their land, making earth mounds and planting yams in them. Everyone sweated. The young man, the young woman, the mother, the father. Anansi gave the sweating family the gourd of water. The family gave Anansi a yam happily. Anansi walked on, carrying the yam. He came to a little open shed where a blacksmith was beating on a piece of iron. As he worked, the blacksmith ate charcoal with his sweat all over it. Why do you eat charcoal? Anansi said. Why? Why? Have nothing else, the blacksmith said as he kept on working and eating the sweaty charcoal. Anansi held up the yam to the blacksmith. Oh, please don't eat charcoal. Don't. Take this yam. Take it, roast it, and eat it instead. The blacksmith took the yam. He picked up a short-handled hoe and gave it to Anansi. Anansi walked on, carrying the hoe. He came to a man who was struggling to break palm nuts open with a stone. Anansi gave the man the hoe to use. The man took a half bottle of palm oil from his bag and gave it to Anansi. Anansi walked on, carrying the half bottle of palm oil. He came to a woman with 10 children around her in their open yard. She was oiling the children's bodies with her spittle. Anansi said, Why do you oil your children with your spittle? Have nothing else, she said. Oh, please don't use your spittle to oil the children, Anansi said. He gave the woman the half bottle of palm oil. Use this instead. The mother was grateful. She took the oil from Anansi. She thanked him. She said, You take one of my children. Too many to feed. Too many to clothe. But first, promise, you look after him well. Promise, you'll bring him back often to see his family. I promise, Anansi said. He took the little boy the mother offered, and Anansi walked on. He walked on with the little boy. They came to a woman in a field working alone. The lonely woman fed Anansi's little boy on a wooden spoon, and her head became full of new clothes he could wear. She put on a string of beads around his neck. Anansi said, "Keep this child as company, but first, promise, promise you look after him well. Promise, promise you bring him back often to see his family." "Happy, happy," the lonely woman said. I promise, I promise." And she gave Anansi the wooden spoon. Anansi walked on, carrying the wooden spoon. He came to a house where a woman was mixing corn flour in a bowl with her bare hands. Anansi gave the wooden spoon to the bare hands corn flour mixing woman. The woman gave Anansi some corn flour. Anansi walked on, carrying his little sack of corn flour. He came to a small herd of elephants drinking water at the pool of a stream. "Good afternoon, elephants." The elephants looked up. "Good afternoon, Anansi." Anansi held up his little sack of corn flour. "If you elephants didn't have everything you wanted, I would give you this sack of corn flour." There was silence. Anansi was famous. The elephants were suspicious of him. They dreaded he might play a trick on them and get the better of them. He was famous for that. But an elephant said, "Well, Anansi, if you didn't have a small body, we'd lift this pool of water onto your shoulders and give it to you." The leader elephant had thought out a way they could be polite to Anansi and still control what happened. He said, "Anansi's good enough to offer us something. Let's offer him something." "Yes, but," an elephant said, "what should we offer him?" "I'll tell you what," the leader elephant said. "Let's all jump over the stream together. And should anyone fall in, that one becomes Anansi's elephant." Thoughtfully, all agreed. All right, all right." The elephants lined themselves up, and with a count of 1, 2, 3, they jumped the stream, landing on the other side, except one, the youngest, who fell in. And that young one stood there looking silly in the water. In the midst of great elephant laughter, Anansi dropped the little sack of corn flour, walking all pleased and proud to collect his elephant out of the water. Then, most unexpectedly, Anansi stopped, well taken up with something else. A little bird. The pretty little bird had been standing there all the time, watching all that happened, and Anansi was full of thinking, "Ah, pretty little bird, you will do very, very well for my little son, Takuma." To catch the bird, Anansi began tiptoeing toward it. Then he made a big leap and a grab, but missed. The pretty little bird ran off over the dry leaves on the ground, crossly saying, "Leave me alone, leave me alone, leave me." It stopped, its wings half dropped, its tail flicking up. It said, "Churr, churr, churr." Tiptoeing again, Anansi kept saying, "Come to me, pretty little bird, come to me. My Takuma will love you." He leaped at the bird with a grab and missed. Once again, the little bird ran off over dry leaves on the ground, crossly saying, "Leave me alone, leave me." It stopped, its wings half dropped, its tail flicking up. It said, "Churr, churr." Anansi kept trying to catch the bird and missing, and the bird kept running away, crossly saying, "Leave me alone, leave me alone, leave me. Churr, churr." Shocked, Anansi remembered his elephant in the stream. "What? Forgotten my elephant?" Anansi ran back. He came back to the stream. He could not believe it. His elephant had run away. Gone. All the elephants were gone. He stood, looking around and around. There were no elephants. Not one elephant was anywhere. He remembered the corn flour. Even that he didn't see. He gave up. He walked away. Anansi walked on. He walked on, walking home, empty-handed. So, You see it now? You see how the saying, "Don't leave an elephant to go chase a bird," was started? He is the cause of it. He is the cause, Anansi. The end. I hope you enjoyed this story. I will see you on the next one. Bye for now.
Please like, share, and subscribe for more awesome stories. Thank you.